Have you ever dreamed of being a magical girl? Flashy transformations and bringing evil to its knees with a sparkle of love and femininity? That's always been my dream. Madoka Magica made me reach even further towards it, and honestly, it feels great. Madoka Kaname and Sayaka Miki are besties. Their other friend is this girl who is a rich smarty-pants boy stealer. She's nice, but I hate her. The anime's director, Akiyuki Shinbo, made it very clear that he wanted to revamp the magical girl genre. In a genre where magic is real and girly girls have superpowers and live secret lives that make them different than your average grill, Akiyuki wanted to throw in a dash of realism. Some hard because life is hard, you know? So he told writer Jen Urobuchi to make it dark, to fill the story with blood and gratuitous violence, while he planned to market the show as totally innocent. I like this guy. Madoka Magica is a show as unassuming as your average middle school girl. It appears as another face in the crowd, but behind that face is limitless potential. Potential for worlds upon worlds to burst forward into our reality, which governs our day-to-day existence. So, let me ask you, are you ready to take a leap of faith? With a genre like magical girls, it's easy to get lost in the colors and fantasy, to just make something pretty and entertaining. But Madoka Magica is not so predictable. Innocent middle schoolers are thrust into the brutal truths of not only life on Earth, but the cosmos at large. Life is a weird ride. The loss of innocence is something we've talked about on this channel. It's the realization that life is something real instead of magical. It's something we all go through, but how much of a knife to the heart is growing up really? Does it twist until it kills you inside, or is the seething discontent meant to be washed away by further revelations? Children with loving friends and family trust the world unconditionally. Madoka trusts the world unconditionally. Even if you aren't an 8th grade girl, Madoka's story is one we can all relate to on the deepest of levels. If you don't believe me, then it's time to open up your mind hole. Go on, open it. Your life is not what it could be because you're too afraid to risk your comfort. So blast a cat with a shotgun and give up everything you've ever loved for a life filled with magic instead of monotony. This is the story of Madoka Magica. The story you never knew.
Madoka Grant, do you treasure the life you currently live? And do you consider your family and your friends precious?
Kind of to the first question and yes to the second. At least that's what I, Madoka Grant, would say, but this isn't about me. When Madoka Kaname was asked this, she said yes to both questions. To which Homura responds,
Good, because if that's the truth, then you wouldn't try changing the life you have or the person you are. Otherwise, you'd lose everything you love. Don't change, Madoka Grant. Stay as you are forever.
Who is this monotone girl to drop heavy bombs like that? Growing up, I always had an idea in the back of my head. If I did all the right things, then one day I would make it. One day I would have a life filled with more interesting things than monotonous schoolwork and work. I wouldn't end up like Madoka's school teacher who always complains about her love life. I could spend my days coasting while living the dream. I think everyone has this fantasy. The younger you are, the more likely you are to believe it. It's the veil that life is like the fairy tales. Living happily ever after is what you chase because it's perfectly attainable, because you're special, right? We experience life through our own senses. It's impossible not to feel special.
Konnichiwa, senpai. There will be spoilers in this video, so watch out for those spoilers so you don't get spoiled. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Madoka is just the kind of person who believes in this dream, the fairy tales. She treasures her life, family, and friends. Madoka's personification of this dream is her mother, Junko. No relation to the narcissistic psychopath, Junko is wise, successful. She has a lovely stay-at-home husband and a beautiful family. Whether Madoka realizes it or not, it's clear to the audience that she idolizes her mother. In the beginning, there's those mother-daughter moments. On one such occasion, Madoka says her friend Hitomi keeps getting anonymous love letters, and Junko replies,
If you can't say it to her face, he's not worth it.
There's also more subtle moments, like when Madoka is talking about a friend's relationship while blindly reaching for a towel. Her mother pushes it into her reach while dropping more wisdom about how 3 months is when relationships either fall apart or last a while. Symbolically, this is a blind, naive kid, and Mom is helping her find her way. Then Madoka puts a ribbon in her hair and receives a compliment from her mom that Madoka's secret admirers are gonna get all wobbly in the knees, to which our 8th grade avatar says,
I don't have secret admirers.
But you should dress and behave like you do. That's a secret every pretty girl should know.
Then Madoka's little brother drops a tomato and his mom totally saves it. Junko is a BAMF, and she is the role model that an innocent middle schooler like Madoka Kaname sees as living, breathing proof that life can be effortless, that every answer can be had. To the innocent eyes of a child, perfection can be achieved. But one day, this delusion must come crashing down. The complexity of existing within society isn't for children to worry about. As children, we naturally flow like water. We're still taking in the world. We haven't gotten a firm enough grasp on it yet to comprehend the big picture, to question the subtleties, the monotonous day-to-day steps we take simply to fill our societal roles we were born into, play out, but never asked for. Madoka is innocent. She hasn't seen the world yet. More proof of this idea presents itself with Madoka and Sayaka's first encounter with Kyubey, a magical kitty cat who will grant any wish in exchange for a lifetime of being a magical girl. Upon learning such interesting information, the two are escorted by a super mature and inspiring 9th grader named Mami through a labyrinth, a mental illusory dimension. It's a psychedelic collage of wonder where an evil witch gets brought to her knees by magic itself. Is this not the fantasy every child has? And now, thanks to an adorable creature and a powerful mentor, Madoka and Sayaka have their chance to live this dream forever. Mami spends her days fighting evil and lives the coolest life imaginable. She even has her own place and makes amazing cakes! But things change in episode 3. I'm not afraid of anything. Mentors aren't as they seem. Madoka's mom comes home so hammered she's lying on the floor and babbling about some work bullshit. Daughter and dad help mom into bed and then have a conversation over hot chocolate. Madoka asks about mom and why she loves to work so much. Her dream was never to work at that company, at least not initially. Her father explains that in a way, this is how she's able to live out her dream. A nice house, family, and monetary success. That's the dream, right? Madoka is confused, probably subconsciously skeptical. Mom wasn't exactly dancing through a dream tonight. Miring, slowing down, getting stuck, trapped between hope and the signs of a darker side. The bog of realization and the temptation of simplicity. Faith in a cat with big promises. The naivete of trusting a predator. Not long after Mom's piss fest, that other person with a mom name named Mami enters another labyrinth with Madoka, and they both get to talking. Madoka tells Mami how much she looks up to her, how she wants to be just like her. Mami feels she doesn't deserve it, as if she's playing guiding light for a path nobody should take. But Madoka stands her ground, truly impressed by this person who risks their life protecting people and quite literally being a glamorous magical girl hero. Mami's guilt is obvious, but Madoka is blind to the depths of Mami's despair because Madoka is blind to the dark side, blind to the full picture of reality. Mami is broken inside, or at least feels that way until she opens up to Madoka. Mami is reassured she won't be alone anymore once Madoka becomes a magical girl herself. Finally, with a companion, a friend, Mami proclaims she isn't afraid of anything. Her next battle feels so light for the first time. Then she meets the Witch of the Labyrinth. Innocuous at first until it transforms and reaches towards Mami. It bites her head off. Just like that, Madoka and Sayaka's role model is decapitated and left to rot in a playground in another dimension. Because of the life Mami lived, the very life our pink protagonist wants so badly, she died without any loved ones to remember her. Her body will be left in that labyrinth forever. forever, and nobody will remember her or celebrate her stubbornness in fighting the good fight. Madoka can't help but cry. The idea of riding on Cloud 9 forever and ever has come crashing down as cruelly as possible. Reality creeping in feels like poison. If you want to help the world, you will need to sacrifice. There is no such thing as effortlessness behind the glamour, or heroes who have not been beaten down by life. Whether you're a 30-year-old school teacher who can't hold down a date, or a magical girl who was able to make any wish she ever wanted in exchange for the life she really, truly thought she wanted, there is no such thing as having made it. Idealism of youth is always damaged by a knife to the heart. Won't there finally be a time when I don't feel an awful pinch of anxiety for what's coming next? Won't I stop feeling despair during those times when I'm alone staring at the ceiling? Will life always be something I have to push through? Role models are those who we trust to show us the way to the dream. Now one has obvious cracks, and another lost her head. Then there's Kyubey. While Madoka traverses the pain of awakening to a world that is unfair, a world that doesn't take feelings into account, she is left with her friend Sayaka and the influence of Kyubey. She watches Sayaka slowly crumble under the weight of what it truly means to be a magical girl, while being tempted with the opportunity to save everything with her wish from Kyubey. However, like Mommy, both Sayaka and Homoda are against Madoka becoming a magical girl. And Kyokyo was there too. While Homoda and Sayaka are pained from their responsibility and the weight of the world, they actively wish to protect Madoka. To them, she represents everything they lost. Innocence. They simply do not want her to endure the burden of a magical girl. But Kyubey is another animal altogether. As the progenitor of the internal and external conflict these girls face, he is as complex in motive as he is in representation. Kyubey is a monster, a wolf in sheep's clothing. While cute and innocent on the outside, promising a contracted life of adventure, excitement, and beauty when all one needs to do is make a wish, on the inside, he is nothing. His species are emotionless creatures, so much so they see emotions as mental disorders. Without emotions, there is no right and wrong, simply logical or illogical, and cold logic has no room for empathy. The species has created technology which binds a human soul to a jewel and allows the raw emotional energy to be utilized for the greater good. The raw emotion trapped in these jewels then becomes the power to fight entropy. It's all very scientific.
Wow, science is so amazing!
Naturally, this leads the species to prey on middle school girls because puberty is crazy, am I right, people? Those emotions, they run hot! But really, if you look at the social connotations of manipulating schoolgirls, pick an episode of Degrassi. Take it a step deeper and it becomes so clear that the layers of Madoka Magica not only go sociological, but biblical. Kyubey is a satanic figure, one who tempts the innocent and pure with wishes and power. But at the ultimate demonic price, their souls. Satan tried the whole tempting thing with Jesus 3 times, but Jesus knew better. We watch Sayaka slowly lose herself after her body is left as a vessel. Her soul now in a jewel, she no longer feels human. She can't go on living like that. Slowly, this metaphysical terror combined with the mundane realities of life corrupt her innocence beyond repair. Her soul gem turns black, and from this corruption, Sayaka transforms into a witch. The same creature that ended Mommy's life. This transformation into a witch is inevitable for all magical girls, besides those who die. Once started down this path, there are only 2 options for the future. Turns out this cycle of magical girl degeneration is simply perpetual energy for Kyubey's goal of fighting entropy. Witches are what magical girls are supposed to spend their lives fighting. Turns out they're just fighting themselves. It's futility in motion. This entropy Kyubey battles with the souls of innocent girls is on a scale we can't comprehend. If the entropy is happening, is it not natural? Could it not be said that it is God's will? As Satan found out, fighting the will of God lands you in hell, aka eternal suffering. What this could be taken as is a lesson in futility. Zooming out, God's will is absolute. There is no fighting it. To do so is futile and will bring eternal suffering upon those who attempt it. Hence, hell. However, this concept of selling your soul is far more universal than relating to a 2,000-year-old book. If I look back, 8th grade was really my last year of innocence, my last year of middle school before my world opened up just wide enough to let some corruption in. Now, as entertainers, we constantly have to fight selling our souls to the corporations trying to buy our influence over you, the viewer. Even on a channel as small as Bonsai Pop, we get an offer every other day to try and manipulate you into buying something. How much money is worth your integrity? How great a prize is worth your soul? Can you live without it? Cube simply doesn't care. Hence a major theme of the show. Sacrifice. Sacrifice is tied into all things once innocence is lost. What are you willing to let go of in order to achieve your goals? What is a necessary casualty to reach your peak? Depending on your occupation, this could be intrapersonal relationships, or it could mean as much as 100,000 soldiers in one push to gain a foothold on a beach. Madoka and all the girls have to learn the pain of sacrifice. None know this as well as Homura, who has been time-hopping for a long time in order to prevent the inevitable death of Madoka. All the horrific events we witness throughout this show, Homura has seen 1,000 times, and she'll do it again to save Madoka if she has to. Complete commitment. One of the unique things about Japan is their amalgamation of worldviews, their native Shintoism, their adoption of Indian and Chinese Buddhism into Zen, and the eventual invasion of Christianity. The evidence of these circulating schools of thought are blazingly apparent in Madoka, and never more so than in the ending, when Madoka finally makes her wish. Regardless of where your train of thought starts, it can be easy to see that part of the human condition is suffering. It is a natural state of being for a human to suffer, from small things like a backache to larger things like systemic oppression. Most religions with a figurehead have the goal of alleviating that suffering. Madoka's wish is just that, to have the power to end the suffering of all magical girls of the past, present, and future. This could be seen as ending the cycle of suffering, to sever karmic reincarnation. The idea we have to face the consequences of our past lives in our present life. The severing of that cycle is enlightenment. Because of the great suffering of Homura, all the timeline she went through to save her friend converge into this one true timeline. And Madoka melds back into the universe. It is impossible to make Madoka's wish come true with the laws of the universe as they currently are. And so she is seemingly erased from existence. She also becomes existence, dissolving into the fabric of the cosmos, highlighting a Buddhist school of thought on the nature of reality itself. If the universe started from a singularity and expanded, all parts of it are simply an expression or extension of that singularity. Meaning that no matter how big it gets, how many facets or avatars it may have, everything in the universe, including us, is still simply the universe. It is still a singularity. If you hurt something or someone, it hurts the entire universe because you are the universe. And so was the thing you hurt. But if you help, you're helping everyone. While Madoka seems to disappear from her benevolent action in self-sacrifice, it can also be seen as her reverting to her natural state of being, or simply changing her state of being. She blends back into the universe as everything and nothing again. While seemingly ripped from her friends and family, from time and space itself, she is existing all alone everywhere at once. Madoka gave up the life she treasures and the family and friends she calls precious to stop the suffering of those who don't deserve it. Her name and identity are erased, only being vaguely remembered as a feeling that's familiar but not quite taken seriously. Like drawings by children, or her mom admiring the same pink bow Madoka wore, for a reason she can't quite put her finger on. Madoka scattered across time and space to heal everyone who had the idealism of youth and was given the cosmic opportunity to act on it. In the deepest, most profound way, Madoka accomplished all the reasons Sayaka, Homura, and Mami made a pact with an alien cat that didn't care. It was a success on the most cosmic of levels. It just required a cost that ensured the intentions were pure. That's what is necessary necessary to live the dream and to make it for all eternity. Homura still misses her friend and can't even grieve to those around her because Madoka never even existed to them. It's something she simply has to live with.
Madoka Grant, I'm so sorry you have to be alone forever. I tried so hard to save you.
Homura Ryan, don't be sad. I'll be with you and everyone always. I'm protecting the life I treasure and the family and friends I consider precious. I'll never really be alone.
No, this is even worse than death would have been.
No, you're wrong, Homura Ryan. As I am now, I can see everything that has or will happen, both of the universes that could have been and the universes that might one day be. All of them.
Madoka Grant.
And that's why I finally know just how much you've done for me in all those different timelines. By risking your comfortable life and by giving up mine, I've become... Blah, 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 blah. Madoka became a god of hope, a Buddha, and despite making the ultimate sacrifice, the dream has not been realized. While it's true that magical girls no longer devolve into witches thanks to Madoka's sweetness, evil spirits still lash out at human minds from the shadows. Homura's new destiny in this new witchless world is to fight these wraiths. But perhaps this is the way it was truly meant to be? Good can't exist without evil. Hope can't exist without despair. You could say Kyubei's intervention sent this balance into a spiral which Madoka and Homura corrected by rewriting the laws of reality itself. The world is better, but despite Madoka's youthful idealism ripping her from time and space, everything is still not effortless magic. Reaction to tragedy still makes the distinction between saviors and devils, and nobody ever truly makes it. But perhaps that's the way it should be. That's the story of Madoka Magica. The story you never knew. Welcome to the end of the video. I'm Madoka Grant. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, if you made it this far, maybe you should check us out on Patreon for more content like this.
Yeah, and it only costs $1 for extra content and joining the Discord, which is private for patrons only, so you know that it's really cool people, and it's got like anime and stuff, so it's cool. You did a great job, Madoka Grant.
Thank you, Mike. Schoolgirl Mike. Shout out to Calico Kim, lucky patron of the week. And hey, we have more videos, so you should check those out. And the best way to do that, subscribe, hit that bell, you won't miss anything.
No, you won't, because we're all here to do it with you and watch the things. Holy God. It's kind of sexy though, right? With the hair and everything. You should really get your due like that.